they
Yeah.
earn money, and then the first thing they do is they go on what they call the blue market, and they buy US dollars. And then there's a lot of scams. People lose their money. It's like, well, there's probably a safer way to do this. Like these people are wanting access to a stable banking system. Their banking system let them down. So we can build a better system that's global, that's open to everyone, that doesn't have restrictions. And so that's really where I'm coming from.
Martians landed.
Yes.
Wearing Prada suits.
Yes.
Drinking Henry Seltzer.
Yes.
Chewing juicy fruit.
Yes, and?
Your branding here.
Yes, brand.
Your message here.
Yes, and?
A verse about
Yes.
your product here.
Yes.
I'm Hirsch Redman.
Yes, and?
I'm a message therapist.
Yes.
And I have a podcast.
Yes, brand.
That's right, that's it.
Yes.
We'll help you fix the world.
Yes.
Or your bottom line.
All right.
Your bottom line.
Get it. I get it. Welcome to the Yes Brand Podcast.
In the Yes Brand hot seat today is Robert Roose. Robert is the founder of Mint. He first got started in crypto in 2013, and his mission now is to equalize the playing field and bring new financial opportunities to everyone worldwide. He's dealt with the problems of blockchain incompatibilities, and he's observed the struggles of Web3 mass adoption. And so, as a result, he sought to build a protocol to bring everything together, any token to any token on any network. Robert, thanks so much for being on the S Brand podcast.
Yeah, thanks for hosting me. I'm excited to get started.
It's a pleasure to have you on. Now, as I mentioned in our pre-call, our audience has varying degrees of immersion in blockchain and crypto. And also, I think a lot of people uh, became interested a few years ago. And then, when the bubble kind of burst for a moment there, people just lost touch. So where are things at? Bring us up to speed a little bit on crypto.
Yeah, well, I mean, crypto all started back in like 2008 when this novel revolution came to the surface where you could build this decentralized system and have money that doesn't have any centralized parties. And so that kind of kickstarted things. And for a long time, it's just been this idea, and it's been this novel idea that a lot of people haven't really bought into. And now we fast forward to today, and the ecosystem has matured quite a lot. There's still this cloud of uncertainty. There's still a lot of people who are skeptical about the industry. And then I think a lot of them is rightfully so, because there's a lot of scams and a lot of problems in this industry that kind of keeps people away. But what does get people interested is the bubbles that happen where prices just boom. So if we look at back when I got started, Bitcoin was $30. My first purchase was $30. I think today it's like at $100,000. So that definitely does get people excited. But beyond price, like we just have a lot of utility for blockchain technology to really equalize what people can do with their money. And that's where I really have passion is I want to bring these opportunities back to the people so that they can have control over their finances. So there's just like a lot in general happening in crypto all over the place.
Now, why is this mission so important to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel that I grew up rather privileged in that I always had very good banking availability. So I grew up in Australia, and then kind of early on in my entrepreneurship journey, I went to the USA. I spent some time in Silicon Valley starting up companies. And again, the banking system is very well in the USA. But then further traveling, it just kind of became an awakening of like, it's not good everywhere, and this
Right.
world is very much divided by based on where you were born. And so, like, I'm privileged in that I was born in a very well-developed country, and not everyone kind of has that privilege. And so, I did a lot of investment in the stock markets, and Even my friends that I grew up with in Australia, they didn't have the same access to the investments that I had, because I had dual residency in multiple countries. And so then they're like, oh, we have the Australian stock market. So, well, the US stock market performs better. Like this is a better investment, but they're like, okay, we can't invest in that, right? And so that is kind of where I'm coming from, to kind of bring these opportunities to everyone. And then I also spent some time in Argentina and just like seeing how people live there, where their currency just loses value every single week. And so they earn
Yeah.
money, and then the first thing they do is they go on what they call the blue market and they buy US dollars. And then there's a lot of scams, people lose their money. It's like, well, there's probably a safer way to do this. Like these people are wanting access to a stable banking system. Their banking system let them down. So we can build a better system that's global, that's open to everyone, that doesn't have restrictions. And so that's really where I'm coming from.
Yeah. So and it's about more than currency, um, or even ease of purchasing power. It's really about a global economy serving everyone and trying to make it as equitable as possible. Get into the nitty-gritty a little bit as far as what you're envisioning, how long it's going to take, you think, for people to adapt and adopt.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been in crypto, like crypto has been around for like a little over a decade now, and it has been a slow adoption, and I think a lot of that has been resistance by some government entities, but also the technology is really hard. And I mean, and this is like another effect is that even if crypto doesn't become like the de facto, like the very nature that we are competing with these legacy systems is like that's forcing them to step up their game because they have to compete with us now. So like even if you don't use crypto, just the very nature of crypto existing has helped the world by giving them, some fire and pushing them forward. So like where we're going now, so what I'm trying to do specifically is bring interoperability. And so that's a fancy sounding word, but what it really means is like having compatibility between all the different systems. Because right now we have this problem where you can learn about crypto today and you download a wallet and then you might get a token, but then your friends, you want to send a payment to them, but they're using a different wallet and they want a different token. And then you have this problems. Like you think you're both using crypto and you are both using crypto, but you're using a different version of crypto. And so what I'm doing is just bringing all those versions together so that everything is seamlessly compatible. And so if I want to send money to another person, then that can be done easily. So the way to kind of think about this in the traditional world is like you're living in UK, I'm living in Germany. We're using two different currencies. You're using British pound, I'm using euro. Um, so there shouldn't be much thinking behind it, right? Like we both have banks, and the protocol that I built is making those completely compatible with each other so that you don't even have to think. I just think, you want X, British pounds, I'll get conversion rate. So, okay, that's going to be €100. And so I send that conversion happens, and then you get your value that you wanted, and I got debited from my value. So like both parties are happy. And so that's where we're heading, but on a global scale. So you can think that kind of expands to every single country, to every single person without restriction. And then everyone has the choice to choose their own currency. And these are going to kind of proliferate and just we're going to see an explosion of different currencies. But eventually, after kind of some bubbles burst, we're going to see some consolidation. So eventually, we're going to settle down on like what are those major stores of value? Because right now there's like 1,000 new ones, and it's very overwhelming. But that's not going to last forever. Eventually, it's going to kind of settle down and stabilize, and then we will be that fabric to really help people connect all the pieces together.
Yeah. Now, um, when we think about Mint and a lot of new businesses that have, businesses that have sprouted up, very recently. Business in general, industry seems to be evolving at a really aggressive pace. In this show, we like to talk about the brand building experience. How is it going? How has it been for you in terms of the founder's perspective and building Mint into a brand?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of resistance in new technologies in general, because kind of being involved with crypto, especially, you have a lot of people who come in with significant amounts of skepticism. So when I first launched the Mint brands, the first reaction was quite negative. This was also at the peak of the bear market. There's like people like, oh, like there's another crypto project, or like are these guys just going to steal my money? And then we had to like, hey, no, we're not asking for any money. We built this. You don't have to buy it. You can use it if you want to use it. If you don't want to use it, that's cool. So that was kind of like the first year of our existence. It's just like building trust, because it is quite ironic because we're in crypto because we don't trust systems, and we say that we're building as trustless systems. But at the core, because we're dealing with humans, there's a lot of trust. So people still have to trust your project, and that takes time. And there's not really any shortcuts around that other than just being persistent. And I think rightfully so, like people have a lot of skepticism just because they keep losing money. Like there's people come, they promise the world, they say, oh, we're going to build this. Just give us $1 million of your money, and then people will crowdfund the investment, and then like, oh, bye guys, we're going to go to this island, never see you again. And so that happens over and over again. So it's right, they're rightfully so in being skeptical. And so that was kind of like the first year of our existence. And then now we're kind of just in this phase where a lot of people in our niche know us. And what we're kind of struggling with is breaking outside of that niche, because we want to make crypto for the non-crypto people. That's really where we want to go. And there's kind of these two markets. There's the people who are in crypto to make money. So these people are very much into the meme culture of crypto. And then there's the people who are actually our target audience, who's like they don't know yet about crypto, and we don't necessarily need to teach them about crypto. We just need to teach them like this is the solution. Like you know the problem that you're dealing with. Here's the solution. So that's kind of where we're heading at the moment.
Well, that's a certain type of personality. There are personalities that really demand to understand the intricacies of every technology they embrace. They want to know how magnetic striping works. They want to know everything. And then there are people that see a utility or a technology and they say, look, I just want to know how to use it. I don't need to know everything about how it works. But you make a great point about trust. It seems like we're living in a very skeptical time. I maintain that to some extent, AI has made that worse because we just in our daily interactions and anything we look at, read online, anybody we engage with online, we don't know if it's a person or it's a bot or if it's AI or human. And I think that, decreases the trust in the sense that we just literally don't trust what we're engaging with. Um, in terms of your brand vision for Mint, that to reach that wider audience, what are you doing to get to those non-crypto people?
Yeah, so our strategy is really embracing the B2B model. So business to business, where Mint is kind of this fabric that sits behind the systems, and then we have other businesses building on top of Mint. And so we have a couple partnerships already who are building on top of Mint, and then they have their own apps, and then they do their own branding. So what we have built, for example, is like a Mint savings account, but then it's branded under their app. And so then you just have this app that it has a savings module, and then that people are earning yields on a kind of a weekly basis. And so that's really going to be our scaling strategy moving forward. Where if you kind of think of how Visa and these other companies have scaled out, it's been about these like partnerships where you have the resellers working for you. And so the benefit of these companies working with us is they will have profit opportunities. So we have like a base fee, and then others will build on top, and then they will charge a small fee on top. And so that's really how we're scaling out, because then they will do their marketing, and they target their different groups. And so Mint itself is really just like that invisible layer. And so like I will consider Mint to be a long-term success when people are using Mint without even knowing that they're using Mint, because it'll just be like so well integrated into your mobile app that you just like send the token and it sends, and then you don't even think, oh, I just use Mint. Like that would be a success in my mind.
How long do you project that will take?
Projections are always difficult, right?
Yeah.
So the core of the technology we're planning to finish in 2026. But in terms of like when that is going to get major adoption, I think that would take a lot longer. When we look at like the trends of people. So I would be aiming for like 2030 would be like my longer term vision, and I want to make sure that before then we have some like significant milestones achieved. But this is really like a longer term vision, because the tech is one thing, right? And like tech we can build, we have a very capable team, but like the other problems is just like the actual adoption. And so and then just the partnerships themselves, and then and building out the apps, and then getting people to trust the systems. And I would say that that's more like a 4 to 5 year type of thing that we're out. So technology is going to be ready in 2 years, and then the adoption I think will take maybe another 2 years on top of that, optimistically. So that's kind of the timeline I have in my mind.
Yeah. Um, Now, if you were doing something else in business, if you had not gone into crypto, is there another uh industry out there, another area that you find interesting?
Yeah, I mean, before I got full time into crypto, I was working in data science. And data science is basically pre-AI. It's what we're calling like AI now, but it was the step before that. And so that would probably be the field that I would be in, just because it's very influential, and it's data heavy. And so that's kind of right up my alley, where it really piques my interest. Um, I like we use AI every day, like even just building Mint, not for like the core of the code writing, but just for the bits and pieces and some of the testing and automating some of the processes, because it's a very powerful technology. And I see that probably in the next phase, we're going to get to what I would consider like beyond the LLMs, because I don't really see, we're not in this phase right now of true AI. We call it AI, but it's not intelligent. It's really just this pattern recognition system that isn't capable of reasonable thoughts. It's really depending on previous people thinking and what that data is. But we're going to get to a point probably within the next few years where these AI systems can actually produce a new thought, not based on another human's thought. So that's kind of very exciting to me. So that will probably be the other area that I would be in, if not crypto.
And what would be an example uh of the kind of thought that you're talking about? Like give me an example of a thought, original thought that would be in that iteration.
So, so the thing with like LLMs, right, is that they will base data based on what has come before. And so if there is no data, then it can't produce an original
Right.
thought. So it could even say, so like the question of like what is an original thought, like that itself could be an original thought, but it should come without the data before it. So that's more what I'm getting at is like these LLM systems require data leading up to it. And once you know how to use these LLM systems, you can start to really enhance their power. But like it never comes up with anything original. It's always based on
Yeah,
a
it's
previous
pulling.
input.
Right. It only knows what's been put in there. And
Yeah,
so it doesn't, yeah, so it doesn't originate an idea. It aggregates it, you know, it
yeah, and
parses
this is
information.
really going to be super powerful because if we want to invent new technology, so like say anti-aging, right? There's a lot of focus on anti-aging stuff, but like AI can't help us develop a new anti-aging technology because all it can do is analyze the existing research that humans have done. And it does a very good job, right? It helps us analyze existing research better than we can, and that helps us progress. But what it can't do is make a new invention. It can't come up with a new study. Say, hey, like this is going to be the next leap. It can't do that yet. That would be an original thought that we can do because we can like look at where we are saying, okay, what's going to be the next thing we should try? That would be an original thought, and the AI is not there yet. But when it does get there, then we're going to see technology just kind of go on a rocket ship, basically. Like it's going to get crazy.
So that will be an exciting time. Looking ahead, if you were going to give young entrepreneurs in young people in the crypto space, um, a piece of advice or knowledge to share as we go into a new year, as we enter 2025, what would that be?
I think stay curious and be open to new opportunities. Like just just go and try and build something. I think like that's the best way to kind of get started. Even if you don't know what you're going to build yet, just find something and put things together. Um, because there's so much opportunity out there, and there's so many things that we need that we just need more curious minds to actually go and do new things. So like try something new and don't like try and copy other people. I feel like we have so many copycats in the crypto world where it's like, oh, we're building this, but on a different blockchain. Like, stop doing that. Can't like you just go and talk to some people. Ask what are your problems? What are your problems with money, or what are your problems with logistics? Like, you could go ask FedEx, like, what's your number one problem? And there's probably a blockchain solution for them. They just don't know it yet, and go and build that.
That's great advice. Thank you, Robert Roose. Right now, Robert, where can people find you?
Best place is to follow Mint on Twitter. You can also visit our website and find the Discord link, and so you can ask any questions you have in our Discord.
And it's Mynth, Mynth, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
All right. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
If you liked the show,
Yes, and
it worked for you,
yes, then.
subscribe and leave a
Yes, friend.
5-star review.
Yes, friend.
Tell all your friends.
Yes, friend.
Get your branding here.
Yes, friend.
Get your branding here.
Yes, friend.
Did I make it clear?
Yes, friend.
Get your branding on
Yes.
before they're gone.